Next time on Adventures in Heels.
What do you want? What is on your heart?
I've got my end game. I know what I want to accomplish. Now I can start planning every step back to where I am right now, and I know the steps I need to go to get there.
If you are regularly doing things to make you uncomfortable, it means you're making strides towards something that you really want. Whatever's important to you, you have to have this in your mind.
Adventures in Heels, Mondays, twice a month on thebosley.net.
It's
Honestly,
never too late to start.
My man Junior on the motherfucking beat with some straight up heat.
Kush Hay Show. Kush Hay Show. The Kush Hay Show. The Kush Hay Show.
Microdose.
What's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here, coming to you episode 8 of the Microdose Volume 2. The Microdose officially established in 2017. Back again. Start off at the top. Just want to let you know we are less than a week away from the Unnamed Footage Festival Part 3. That's right, the third time is the charm. And this year it's bigger and better than ever. They're doing a full 4 days. We're starting it off February 27th. They're going to be at the Artist Television Access. The next day, the Little Roxy Theater in San Francisco. And the final 2 days at the place where it all started, the Balboa Theater. I know for the last 2 days, tickets are available at the door and they'll run $35 a day, but why don't you get the best way to save and get yourself a 4-day pass that's $60. You're not just saving $10 for the weekend, but you're saving money on seeing an additional 4 to 6 extra movies, including a remake of Maniac that Elijah Wood did 2-3 years ago now. To be honest, I've never even seen the original Maniac. I understand this new one is as good, if not better, than the original. A lot of love was apparently put into it. If you're into documentary, found footage, horror style films, this is the festival for you. I'm not a part of it, I'm just a fan, but I know I can get my tickets at unnamedfootagefestival.com. Tickets will be at the door, but they'll be much cheaper this way. Now, while that was just a little friendly plug for a thing that I liked to spectate, I did mention at the top, there's a remake of a movie called Maniac. And last night I saw a movie, Enter the Fat Dragon, starring Donnie Yen. It's pretty much a kung fu movie, but done in the style of The Nutty Professor. I don't know, but that's also a remake from 42 years ago, and was starring the great Sammo Hung. Still great, still alive. Only 11 years older than Donnie Yen, so it's very weird that 42 years later they're making this movie. Sammo Hung's whole thing is at 5'7", he's like over 200 pounds. Like he's a fat guy, but he's not like obese, not on death's doorstep. Probably doesn't have a high cholesterol count. He's very athletic, incredibly strong, could do all these fantastic things. Man knows how to do a backflip. Who doesn't love a fat guy doing a backflip? But that was Sammo Hung's gimmick, and every movie he was in was all about, check out this fat guy doing these incredible stunts. Whereas this is Donnie Yen in a fat suit, and sure, I mean, he's probably carrying an extra 50 pounds, 25 pounds? He's not carrying his own weight plus an additional whatever to equate 250 pounds, 111 kilograms for those on the metric system. But we're not doing a review of that. There's a review available also on thebosley.net/reviews. Check that out. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I found it, when it wasn't just flat out silly, it was very entertaining and just a lot of fun. I think we're going to be talking about remakes because, again, last week I saw a remake of Fantasy Island. You could more or less call that an adaptation, but new is new. Yesterday, as I mentioned, Enter the Fat Dragon. Next week, Blumhouse is also doing a remake of The Invisible Man. You can call it an adaptation, you can call it a reimagining, whatever you want, but H.G. Wells is still credited as one of the contributors. I don't know how that movie's going to be, but I feel its strength is in its director, who did the movie Upgrade from 2 summers ago. And we talk about that more in Kush Hayes Show, episode number 40. That's available now, also on thebosley.net. Plugs. It's all about plugs today. I don't know if The Invisible Man will be good or not. Again, the strength is in its director, and I look forward to seeing that. Then I saw my timeline today, Facebook, Twitter. It usually comes up every couple of years. Someone has to put out an article that says, so-and-so says, don't remake Back to the Future. Back to the Future is a Robert Zemeckis movie from 1985. I was 7 or 8 when it came out. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed its 2 following sequels. And I agree, it's a pretty solid trilogy. Just fun movie for the whole family. It's also 35 years old now, and I really don't care if it gets remade, but people are like adamant that don't touch this movie. Don't try to remake this movie. It's sacrilege. It's disrespect. Robert Zemeckis said as long as he's alive, there'll never be a Back to the Future remake. To that I say it's not up to him. Unless that's something he has in his clause, in his contract with Universal Pictures, that's not up to him. Your favorite movies, your favorite classics, you may or may not know, are already remakes. 1939's The Wizard of Oz. It's a remake of a movie from 14 years prior. No one is ever talking about it. No one's ever saying you should check it out. No one's trying to put out a limited release. No one's got a clip of it on YouTube. Scarface, if you're a fan of the hip-hop community, you're probably a big fan of Scarface, and that's a remake of a movie dating all the way back to 1932, when it was literally just about Al Capone. But then 1983 rolls around, and for whatever reason, we gotta have Al Pacino playing a Cuban guy. I'm honestly not a fan of the Scarface, but I've never seen its 1932 predecessor either, so it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. RoboCop, it's a movie from 1987. It's had numerous sequels, had a TV show, comic books, had a cartoon, had a toy line, which is kind of fucked up if you think about it. And in the early 21st century, for whatever reason, it had a series of made-for-TV movies. It was weird. They released them the whole week on the Sci-Fi Channel, then spelled SCIFI. You shouldn't expect much from them. However, in 2014, someone got a red hot coal up his ass and decided he needed to remake RoboCop. And several folks did the whole, don't do it. It's disrespect on the original. Why would you do that? Because they don't want to make a shitty sequel. And they just want to do it. It's a good business investment. Milking that nostalgia. People know RoboCop. They're going to go see a RoboCop movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. I would go on to see it through a Redbox rental, I think. And you know what? Wildly forgettable. No one even talks about it to this day. They're still talking about the original. Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1991. Made by the same director who did RoboCop, actually. Completely different from the source material that's based on, which is a Philip K. Dick novel. And then they tried to remake it back in 2009? I don't remember. Colin Farrell, he's great and everything, but it's a very forgettable movie. They tried to make it more like the book. The one thing that all these movies have in common, besides all having remakes, is that all their originals still exist. Nothing has happened to them. They haven't disappeared. I mean, unless you're Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope, nothing has changed about it. It's still there. You can still access it at will. If you own a physical copy, great. If you own a digital copy, people are still debating on how long that's going to be a thing. Point is, you dictate what the studios make. It's your dollar. You give them $10 to $15 every time you buy a ticket. And that tells Hollywood, whether this is a good idea or not, people wanted to see this. Sometimes it's very few. Sometimes we're talking billions of dollars. Very few people went to go see RoboCop, and again, it didn't get bad reviews. Very few people went to go see Total Recall. Again, people have forgotten it even exists. Disney last year put out 3 remakes of their own adaptations. By the way, for those who say Disney is running out of ideas, you're talking about a company who's been adapting fables from the 18th century since 1939. Let that sit in your head for a second, and then maybe don't say things like that again. But Disney had remade 3 of their adaptations: Dumbo, The Lion King, and Aladdin. Those last 2 made over $1 billion. Dumbo, not so much. No, not so much. I don't know how many fans of the original Walt Disney's Dumbo are out there. It's kind of a depressing movie, just gonna say it. And it's the one of the 3 that I did not bother seeing. Well, again, it's you who dictates it. People aren't giving The Lion King and Aladdin $1 billion because they want to make it harder to pay the rent. They enjoyed what Disney readapted. They enjoyed what Disney remade. Aladdin, not a bad movie. I don't need to see it again, but I enjoyed what Guy Ritchie did with it. I enjoyed all the colors. Catchy songs that you still remember from the 1992 original. You know, if you haven't checked it out, give yourself 2 hours. It's there. Or don't. It's fine. The Lion King. Amazing movie. Absolutely everybody should have seen it on the big screen. I'm kind of sad I only saw it once. But I really appreciated seeing it on that beautiful Dolby screen when I did. And that's what I'm getting at, guys. You control the medium. You dictate what gets made and remade and sequelized and readapted and reimagined. It's up to you. Okay? If you don't want the 14th adaptation of The Invisible Man, do not see the movie that comes out next week. However, if you're open-minded and you think Elizabeth Moss is a good actress and you like Lee Whannell's previous 2 movies, you're probably going to check out The Invisible Man. And statistically, you're probably going to enjoy it. Nothing to be ashamed about that. But we also don't need to get all huffy and puffy about it. Back to the Future, they could remake that movie right now. It's 35 years old. They could absolutely be modernized. You could do something funny. It'd probably all be heavily politically influenced. But if that first trailer comes out and it looks like shit, you don't have to see it. And for those of you that are into hate watching things, it's a waste of energy. And again, it's putting money into that project, telling producers people want to see this. Whether they want to see it with an open mind, or they want to see it just to hate on it and shit on it all day long because they got nothing better to do. You still want to see that movie. I haven't said anything that hasn't been said before. I finally had to just drop my 2 cents on it. If you are listening to this podcast, you're probably like me, and you probably had no intention of seeing Dumbo either. You probably have no intention to see a new Back to the Future. You probably don't care if one gets made either. It's very simple to avoid. These things shouldn't stress you out. They shouldn't worry you. It's just movies, guys. It's just entertainment. We are living in a fantastic age where if you need to kill 2 hours, there's not just one way to do it anymore. Or you could just read a book. I think that's a great place to stop. Like I said, reviews, I do them. Check it out. We got Enter the Fat Dragon and Blumhouse's Fantasy Island up right now on thebosley.net. Along that, we got the new episodes of the Kush Hayes Show. Speaking about Blumhouse, we got The Invisible Man, and we're talking Sonic the Hedgehog. Currently the biggest video game adaptation ever made. Good for you, Sonic. Adventures in Heels, every other Monday. Amanda Thomas is going to tell you what it's like to be an empowered girl boss, how to live life to its fullest, and how to get the job done, all in under an hour. Current episode up right now, episode 3, What is Your Endgame? This is a very important episode. I suggest all you check it out. Whether you're an empowered girl boss, or you just know one. Adventures in Heels, available on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. New episodes every other Monday. Check me out on Twitter, @Kush_Hayes. You can hear me in Twitter form if you want. I've been Kush Hayes, you've been you. I am So Loco. Take us out.
Hey Show, the Kush Hey Show, the Kush Hey Show, the Kush Hey Show.
Microdose.
Music provided by Carlos Alphonse, LASIK, Surreal Sounds, and I Am So Loco.
thebosley.net.
Sit, Bosley, sit.
Who doesn't love a fat guy doing a backflip?
Life is so short.
From thebosley.net.
Welcome to the Adventures in Heels podcast.
Adventures in Heels.
I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Hosted by Amanda Thomas.
I've been a business owner for 5 years. I'm going to be really vulnerable with you guys on every episode.
Curated specifically for savvy women with impeccable taste who want to have it all while owning their own business at the same time.
Was I ready? No. Was I scared to death? Yes. But it's the best decision I ever made.
New episodes available every other Monday.
Follow your dreams.
Available on iTunes, Stitcher, and thebosley.net.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.